For too long, brilliant African minds have watched the world's biggest opportunities pass them by. Not because I think they lack talent, but because they lacked a guide. The International Scholars Program changes that. The International Scholars Program is a one-stop platform that takes ambitious, let me repeat that again, ambitious African students and working professionals alike and walks them all the way to America. So this program has been founded by Bob Mwiti, a very good friend of mine, a Kenyan who is actually right now in the United States. As a matter of fact, he, goes to the United States, comes here, lives here, and goes to the United States because he's got a lot of love for Africans. Over the past 7 years, ISP has placed more than 800 African students in universities across the United States. Full degree programs with funding regardless of financial background. It is one of the very few programs of its kind accredited in both the United States and right here in Kenya, and by the Commission for University Education. So, if you are a student dreaming of studying abroad, ISP walks you through the entire journey. What are they going to do for you? They're going to do school selection. They're going to get you scholarship, applications, and even the visa. And this is the kicker. This is something that I'm very, very, very excited about. If you are already a working professional, so you are here in the country, you are in Kenya, you are in Africa, you are in Zambia, anywhere around Africa, you're a scientist, an engineer, a doctor, a researcher, or any specialist, you can actually qualify for what they call EB2 National Interest Waiver, a U.S. permanent residency pathway. So you don't need to have an employer on the other side. No employer sponsorship required. No long visa queues, just your skill recognized on a global stage. To begin, visit internationalscholarsprogram.com. Or if you want to reach them via call, you can actually call the Nairobi office on 0742 849 555. That is 0742 849 555. Or you can actually walk into their office, the Mirage Tower, Tower 1, 8th floor, Westland, just off Wayaki Way, next to the GTC, International Scholars Program, Empowering Dream. So thank you very much. Welcome to the program.
Tuesday.
Haikuzo makasi ni watafute uongozi pamoja wasitafute.
Kweli una maana gani? Una maana wewe ni binadamu ya mavi ya kuku.
Mashamba yetu harambe.
Nguruwe kujikanga na mafuta yake, na Afrika itakwisha.
Padani ya gosho ngai no mwega na endesho de.
Wakati hiyo ilikuwa ukisema ngwe ndani, ngwe.
All right, hello there, people of the internet. My name is GACHAGUA, and this is Political Headache coming to you live at 7:30 from the city of Glasses. Today, we have got a very chilly evening here in the city of Nairobi, and I am not loving it. I don't know whether Mundalo is my guest today. Joaquim is here, but he's going to be late at the party. Yo kiti yangu inalia sana bwana.
Kiti gani?
Kiti ya hiyo umekalia inalia sana. Na sasa ulikataa kulete kiti bwana. Sasa ilie tu. Niambia watu yaende na walete kiti pia wajaleta. But Mundalo, tell me with the political temperature, what are you feeling about our country today?
Several things, Jagero. First of all, thank you for having me here. Several things I think are in the air. The politics, as you can be able to see, we are getting closer to the election. And the politics is starting to get shaped up. You are seeing heightened party activities, heightened activities from the political party leaders. And I think it just shows you that we are getting nearer the election. I also see an air of government goodies. I just saw the road being launched the other day.
Yeah.
And the accountability question among Kenyans is very high. You can be able to see how quick they were able to compare that vis-a-vis what was launched previously by the previous president.
What do you think about it? By the way, the issue of look, for me, I'm very invested in what the president announced the other day, because that is my road every day.
Yeah.
And that chokehold has been terrible for the last several. You know, I used to live on Ngong Road I've been along Ngong Road for a long time, more than 15 years.
Yes.
Before that Ngong Road was built, we had the worst jam over there.
Yeah.
And then once we built the Japanese built that road, we had a problem with the choke point. So if you're coming from I don't know, the Riara side of Nairobi, ukipanda juu on your way to Ngong, now mnakutana. Then there is the Naivasha road, and then there is the Ngong road, and then there is this Riara one.
Yes.
I forget the name. I think it's called I don't know what the name of that road is.
Yeah.
There used to be a serious choke there. And you'd find like cops are there, like 4 the other side, 2 the other side, 3 this other side. It's just a mess.
Yeah.
So when I saw them, putting when I saw tractors coming out there 2 year ago, we were told that it's going to be over in 3 years.
Yeah.
And I was like, why is it taking 3 years? This is a road that we need done. And then I was passing there every day and seeing what those people were doing.
Yes.
And it is a sight to behold.
Yeah.
First of all, it is beautiful.
Very beautiful.
Kenyans are saying it's expensive. Do I want to care? Maybe. But it's beautiful. Now when you get from town and now you're going on Naivasha Road, you just go slowly. And then they have done it. It looks so beautiful. It looks like, it looks really, really, really good. But the Kenyans are saying it is too expensive, Mr. Mundalo.
I don't think it's Kenyans saying that it's too expensive, Jagero. I think it's just a section of Kenyans, and mostly the political class, who opposition works for them. Because what happens in this country, Jagero, is that there is nothing that unites the politicians. So when you are against government, it does not matter, even if government started providing loaves of bread in the morning to every household, you will still find a way to say that it's a bad project. So I don't think Kenyans are really the ones who are unhappy with the works on Ngong Road. I think Kenyans are actually very, very excited. I've seen photos around the project. And I'm not one of those people who thrives in doublespeak. Because I'm one of those people who believes that when we talk about a problem and then the problem is solved, we must be able to appreciate that it has actually been solved. Yeah. Remember, we are a country that has always talked about the congestion in Nairobi. And how else do we decongest Nairobi if not through some of those bypasses that then are being done? When you look at what the president launched yesterday, I don't know whether you've been able to pass through that road today.
Of course, it's my road. I pass every day.
Exactly. And you're able to see even how excited even the motorists are and how the congestion there has really been able to die down. So I think it's a very good thing that government has done to that effect. And I think it's one of those, what I like about part of these government projects is that they decide not to listen to the noise that is from the political class that can sometimes belie you to think that everyone is anti-development.
Yes.
They don't want to listen to the noise, and President Ruto continues doing what he needs to do. When he says that we have had traffic, for instance, on the road leading to Bungoma, Nakuru, that direction. And over the years, we have had people dying there. We have had accidents there. When the number of black spots on that road is just crazy. And no one has done anything about it over the years. And he's able to say, fine, this must come to an end. So we are building the Rironi-Mau Summit Road. And then somebody will be able to say, no, but you see, don't do it because of this and this and this. Now that is the political class, which never wants real solutions for Kenyans. They always want some problems to continue existing so that they can continue being used as political fodder. Yeah. But the beautiful thing about that I'm seeing that the government is doing today is that not listening to the noise. It's able to know that truly people need the Rironi-Mau Summit Road, and then we do it. People need the Ngong Road bypass, and then we do it. People need the 700 stretch to Garissa and all that other place, then we just do it. Otherwise, in Kenya, if you must keep stopping to listen to every backing thing, there's nothing you'll ever do, because we'll always shift the goalpost. When the project is good, we say how much was it. Yes. When we find that the cost was is good enough, then we say what was the duration. When we find that duration was good enough, then we say who did it, who had the contract. Yeah. When we find that the person with the contract was the right one, then we say what was his skin color. That is always the problem with us, that sometimes we don't just want to look at development for what it is. Look at the Adani deal, for instance, Jagero. Yeah. We made a lot of noise and said, oh, we cannot be able to do this. because of Adani, because Adani is facing a court case, I think in the US or something. And we halted it. Now, several months later, Adani is acquitted of the very case that we're busy accusing them of. So sometimes we have to understand, and I think to govern Kenya, any leader must be able to have the balls to be able to understand that you don't listen to every noise, and not every noise represents Kenyans. Sometimes it's just politics, politicians being politicians for all they care.
Yeah, this is very interesting because I was reading a little bit about the 3.8 billion, the budget that is delivered, and I was looking at some of the roads that have been built. It is saying that the 3.8 billion is a massive budget for 800 meters of road, but it's realistic if you're building heavy urban infrastructure like an elevated flyover or an overpass. Okay?
Yeah.
It is saying that President RUTO commissioned the newly completed Ngong Road Naivasha road flyover near Junction Mall in Nairobi. The cost is 3.8 billion, the length 820 meters, which comprises of about 400 meters elevated steel concrete superstructure and 420 meters of expanded approach roads. So that puts the cost per meter to about 4.63 million per meter.
Yeah.
So it says that if an 800 meter project is priced at 3.8 billion, it is likely handled by an emergency, which is obviously the Kenya Urban Roads Authority, which is KURA. And then there is there are details of the grade separation. So it is raising a fallen, I don't know whether, I think it's a fallen or a two lane, I'm not sure, carriageway completely into the air to separate through traffic from the ground level intersectors. So what they're talking about, what might have brought about the cost is the complex steel superstructure.
Yes.
The complex civil engineering, like the Spanish-built steel framework used at the junction intersection.
Yeah.
There is the massive utility relocation, because you know they have also done the street lights.
Yes.
The four corners of the street lights.
Yes.
They have done that. Okay. So and they have also done the digging up and the moving of the major waterways, and all the fiber optics that were there have been reallocated. All right.
Yeah.
All right. So that perhaps is why it is costing 3.8 billion. But I won't. Well, that is your problem to defend it. For me, I'm just gonna use it.
Plus, again, Jagero, we have a working system in Kenya, whereby when it comes to issues of cost and such kind of things, we have given ourselves a parliament that discusses budget issues and finance issues. That is where that conversation should be able to be canvassed, because we have delegated. We say we have delegated power. We have delegated our power in terms of budget and such to parliamentarians. So in the event there is something about the budgets and all that, the parliamentarians should be able to deal with it. But we as the people must be able to ask ourselves the fundamental question like, is this something that was necessary for the country?
Yeah.
Did we need the road? Was there traffic there? Was there congestion? And did the people need that to be eased up? And the answer is yes. And so we must be able to, the way you're saying that your function is that you should be able to use the road.
Yeah.
So first of all, we must be able to have something to use in the first place. Then we can discuss the cost, and that parliamentarians can be able to do. We can't be a country which opposes everything, and then we almost want everything, and again we don't want anything, and want to also oppose anything. It cannot work like that.
Yeah. I want us to play the video for Morara Kebasa. Morara Kebasa is somebody that has been a consistent site. Welcome, Mr. Joachim. We were with you here the whole time, and then this is.
Where is my chair?
Your chair is here.
It was in the bank.
Why is it like that?
No. This is fine. This is what you get when you are late. Unajua hii si choo, unakuja tu msaa ile unataka.
No, I am a busy man. I'm not like you. I have 3 wives.
Anyway, I want us to play the video of Morara Kebaso, who has gone to.
Haya, mimi ndio Morara Kebaso, Your Excellency the 6th President of the Republic of Kenya, Dr. Fred Okengo Matiang'i. Mimi ni kijana ambaye nilikuwa nimepotea, lakini nimeonyeshwa njia, nimefika nyumbani. Sasa leo niko na ujumbe kwa vijana wote wa nchi ya Kenya. Chama ni gani? Chama ni gani? I want to encourage all the young people in the Republic of Kenya wakuje kwa chama ya Jubilee, wasimame na chama ya Jubilee if you want to bring the change that you want in this country. Your Excellency, the 6th President, Dr. Fred Matiang'i, I want to request you that kindly, poverty has been used and misused to make our people slaves in this country. Ile sababu inafanya wanasiasa wanapatia vijana 200 wakakunywe pombe is because of unemployment and poverty. Your Excellency the President, if it is the will of God, uwe rais wa Kenya na kuomba umalize umaskini kabisa, na mimi niwe kijana wa kwanza kupata kazi kando yako ya ofisi yako. Thank you. God bless you.
All right, so this is what is going on. There is political realignment. Morara Kebaso is no longer injecting. He has gone to Jubilee to be part of the... whenever I speak with Jubilee, I have to be very careful because Mundalo is a life member of Jubilee Party.
He has not resigned?
They never resign. Politicians never resign. There is always a seat that is reserved for them. When the prodigal son comes back,
he will be received.
He will be received. I want to ask you, what does that make Morara Kebaso? Because he was injecting, he was part of the Gen Z movement, but now it looks like he's gone to the old guard. Are we saying, as Gen Z, that it's not going to be possible? You'll have to go back to these old vehicles in order to run the last mile. Is it what happens? What do you think? If you are a political consultant for Morara Kebaso, would you ask him to join Jubilee?
Probably not at this time, because remember, at some point, Morara Kebaso had been able to put up a more national image, and he at some point looked like the hope of the next generation, and Kenyans had embraced him as such. But the political mistake that he made was to go and join Rigathi Gachagua, if you remember. And from that time, the young people who were busy following him up called him a traitor. And from that moment, it became very difficult and untenable for Morara to continue playing the politique of nationhood, because then he had a different brand. And I think it's from that realization that he has chosen that since he has already been labeled a normal politician, let him just go ahead and exercise the politique in its normalcy. So Morara is just looking at the situation and saying, okay, if I want to be an MP in Borabu constituency, then the political reality is that I then have to work with Fred Matiang'i because he's the political supremo from my region. And so for now, I have to pretend that I love him very much and he can make the best president for this country. So he's actually becoming the politician that he has always castigated. He's becoming the person that, he has always said that the problem with politicians is that they do these things for political expediency. Now he's doing the very, very same things that they do for political expediency. You remember he's on record having said Matiang'i is not the best fit to become Kenya's president. He's talked about Martha's River Yala. He's talked about the ills of Matiang'i. But now Matiang'i has turned into a saint because Morara wants to run for a seat in Kisii. So he's becoming more politically realistic. He's looking at the politics and the people and feeling like, okay, fine. If I have to win, he's now becoming a selfish politician as usual. Like, if I have to win this seat, then I need to go here. It will make it easier for me to be able to cross the Jordan. What I don't understand, I don't know whether he mixed his lines, but again, in that clip he asks for a job from Matiang'i. So I don't know whether he's running for MP or he wants Matiang'i to be president and then he works for Matiang'i. Because you see, he says, towards the end, he says, I would want to be your kijana wako ya kwanza ya mkono ukiwa rais. So I think that is the problem.
He can resign.
And maybe he can resign later.
And be a CS.
Yeah, but the truth is that he has gone back to being a normal politician. The hardest job to do, Jagero, is to build a political brand on the basis of something you believe in. And I think that is what he has given up on. And that is what Joachim is struggling to do. It is not an easy thing. That's why people will give up and leave it. Because you are struggling to build a political brand based on something you believe in. Like, for instance, what I'm talking about is the odious debt conversation.
Yes.
This is odious debt. This is what we believe in. And this is Safina Party. And we're not going to be politically convenient and say, because my name is Wanjigi, I'll join DCP. That is what is politically convenient to do.
Okay.
But running away from something that is a political convenience is a hard thing. And I think Morara has finally bend low to the political realities and what is politically convenient for him to do, for him to win the Borabu constituency seat.
But then,
and it should be also, I think it's also big up for the lady Angel Mbudia, who is the National Youth Chair of Jubilee, because I think she's the one who gave me an opportunity to speak at that forum. So there she also did well. Yeah.
Which is fine. And it's a bit confusing because Morara Kebaso is going to Matiang'i so that Matiang'i can do what Raila has always done. Achukue mkono yake, amsimamishe aseme Morara anatosha. Is that what he's going for, or is going for the resources in Jubilee, the money in Jubilee? That's
what I call political convenience, Jagero. That you go where the politics is easier. Like when you come from Kisii, and Matiang'i looks like the political supremo there because the one running for president. When you are on his side, it becomes easy. It's an easier conversation even on the ground.
Yeah.
When you come from Central and DCP looks like it's making the people there are more inclined to it. You go there not because you believe in the party, not because you believe in the leader, but because you are just, you want to face the political reality that can be able to meet your selfish interest. I can assure you, Jagero, most of the people, over 90% of the people inside the DCP who want to run for election, they don't believe in Rigathi Gachagua. They don't really think he's the best thing, the best person to even run this country. But on the basis of their political selfishness and the political reality of where they come from, they would want to go there so that there is a convenience that can then make them achieve their own selfish goals, which are becoming an MCA, becoming an MP, becoming a governor, and such. Because most politicians don't want the hard job of putting up a campaign on the basis of yourself and just selling an agenda. It is. I'll come back to you, Mutu Yasafina, but let me deal with this gentleman first.
I have no problem.
Because I am really confused, by the way, with the politics that I am seeing now. And something that I've seen this evening today has really shocked me. We were with Joachim, with one of his former football soldiers.
I was also shocked when I found you guys.
You remember I whispered something?
Yeah, you whispered something in my ear.
In your ear.
You whispered something in his ear?
Yes.
Are you going to whisper it to the people of the internet?
Yeah, it's not a dangerous thing. So I can still whisper into the ear of the people.
Because there are lots of young people that came out in 2024 to come out and drain the swamp. Okay? This is the politics. This is the legacy politicians. Read the manifesto of Safina Party. Legacy politicians. Willis Otieno has always talked about legacy politicians. But now it is like all these young people that were once very vocal against the powers that be are now falling like ticks and joining. Actually, it looks like you are onto something. But now that thing is no longer tasty. We see a Leonia. Leonia was one of the fiercest government, critics. We have Kasmuel. There are so many of them. Even the other lady that joined Maraga, that attempted to assault a police officer in town. What was her name? Shakira.
Yeah. No, she was not attempting to assault. She was standing up for herself.
Well, you can say what you want, but the pictures tell a different story.
No. Show me a picture that she wanted to assault a police officer.
What did she do to a police officer?
She just refused to move because the police officer did not give her enough reasons.
I think there was contact. Was there no contact?
So the police officer
there was contact
to push her, and then she resisted.
And then what did she do? But anyway, let's not belabor that point. What I was you are trying to take me away from what I'm asking. because are you threatened?
Threatened by what?
Mr. Mundalo, what has happened? One of my friends and a foot soldier of this gentleman called Castro Fidel just crossed over to the government. I saw his WhatsApp status, and he's putting, every morning I wake up, I see what his WhatsApp status. He's talking about the new road that has been opened by the president. He's talking about all the goodies that the president is bringing from abroad. He's showering the president of the Republic of Kenya, Dr. William Samoei Ruto, with praise. And I'm wondering, What happened to these young people? Why are they living en masse?
You see, Jagero, the beauty with young people is that they are not necessarily they are not intoxicated with the normal politique, whereby normal politique is where you argue using the side of, where you argue using your side of the politics. You see, for instance, when you talked about the lady was trying to attack a policeman.
Yeah.
Joachim was very quick to say she was not. Why? Because they exist on the same side.
Yeah.
So his argument must align in a manner that must be able to protect that person who they read from the same script with. It is not an argument of reality. No, it's an argument to protect ourselves, a self-preservation argument. Now, when you look at the young people today, when they went to the streets in 2024, their demands were very clear. One, the finance bill. Two, better governance. And the thing is that they wanted to see a better country. They want to see development. Okay? Now, when you move forward as time continues, the truth is that most of these people are starting to see what government is doing. And when they start to see what government is doing, they find it difficult to reject and say there is nothing. For instance, when the president launches that road, that Ngong Road, it is difficult to say that it was not launched. We all saw it, and it's true, and you pass there, and you can be able to feel it. When Kasmuel is busy going to his home in Karen, he can use that road. So, and then the bigger problem is not even what the government is doing. The bigger problem here is that...
Kasmuel lives in Karen?
Yes, he's a fine gentleman. You're derailing my track of thought, Jagero.
Okay, go ahead.
So when you look at the bigger problem that is here now is politics and governance in itself is an art of comparison. You are either this side or this side. So as we move towards the election, most of these people are able to say, okay, fine. If I am able to score government and say it's not doing very well, but I can be able to see what it's doing. But if I want better, where do I look to? And that's the question that most young people, and not just young people, most people in Kenya cannot answer. Because they look at the opposition leaders and they don't see anything inspiring. So it is not necessarily that government is doing the absolute best. Yeah. But in comparison with what is available on the other side, then President William Ruto is doing extremely well. Because when you look at Kalonzo Musyoka, for instance, he's not inspiring the confidence of young people. When he's being asked what he has been doing for the last 40 years, whereas everyone would want to look at it as a joke, the normal Kenyan who is interested in a good country wants to say, wait a minute, but what exactly can be your answer about that? And they don't hear that answer. When they look at Rigathi Gachagua, they hear him today talk about things that he talked completely opposite things in the past. So he does not inspire them. So this is the reality, that opposition is not inspiring the people. And as opposition continues becoming uninspiring, government continues to deliver. And so every day there is something that gets done. There is a road that is being launched. There is a stadium that is being launched. There is an affordable house that now people are getting into. There is always something that is actually happening. And in that comparison, someone is able to look at and say, fine, wait a minute. Isn't it true, therefore, that this is better than the other? Okay. And that is the reason why you are able to see many people moving away from opposition politics, joining and saying, wait, I think government is actually doing a better job.
Joachim, wake up. Now, somebody told me something during the day, and I want you, and your name also cropped up.
My name?
Yes.
Now I'm interested.
Your name cropped up. This is, I'm going to paraphrase as much as possible. He told me that currently the government is using a lot of money to pick young men from the streets. Give them a little bit, all the noisemakers in the streets are being picked up and given some little goodies. Okay? Some are given phones, very good, expensive phones. Some are told to go and stay in Karen.
Don't use that against them.
You are given an abandoned house in Karen.
You see. And then ukikataa unagongwa kidogo unawachwa kwa on the side of the road. But they were saying that the only ones that will survive are the ones that are next to people with real money. People like Wanjigi.
People like Joachim.
Yes. The last man standing.
He's the one in the bunker.
How true is that statement that the only young men that will stand are those coming from real dynasties?
So how did my name crop up?
Because you are standing. You are perhaps the biggest fish that is still standing outside. Yeah? And you're saying if Joachim has got a red Prado.
And nowadays he also has a
Quacha house.
na LX 600.
You know? Give me a situation. What is going on with the young people that are being picked by the government? Because Mundalo is saying that they are seeing the development that the government is doing. You know, but somebody is looking at Morara Kibaza and saying, look, you don't have the money to campaign in Gusii land. So you are going to go to Uhuru Kenyatta.
I've been told that so many times.
Yeah.
When I said I want to be senator for Nairobi,
yeah,
the DMs I used to get is, how are you going to campaign? Yes, you are a formidable candidate.
Yes.
Yeah.
But how are you going to move around Nairobi? You don't have money. And I said, I didn't have money when I was running to be Bunge president.
Yeah.
But I gave them a run for their money. The government had to pay attention.
You always blame the government, but I think you just lost square.
Let me tell you.
Now, a good politician must look for something to blame.
No, it's not that I am looking for something. Okay. I am a very pragmatic person.
Okay.
When I lose and I admit my mistakes, one thing that led to me losing the Bunge presidency is because I didn't have money at the time they were registering voters. So people got to register, even outsiders of Bunge, to come and vote for them. By the time I got some money to push a few things, to campaign, it was long past time.
Yes.
And you remember, the day, people say I didn't put in measures, the day before election, I had my delegates, because Bunge presidency is like a delegate system. I took them along Gong Road, uko kwa Scouts ground. I had 300 people.
Okay.
Registered voters of Bunge la Mwananchi. So I wanted to put them at one place so that when they leave in the morning, they are going to vote. 300. So I was saying...
What is that tactical?
I was saying, I will have a kickstart of 300 votes.
Okay.
So...
You are kwanza now. You are 30%.
And out of the registered voters of 800 people,
yeah,
I am almost half.
Yes.
So no one can beat me. To my astonishment,
yes,
I managed 184 votes.
Yeah.
So I wonder, what really happened? What really happened? So I'm told, when they were leaving and they were joining the line to vote, you are told by the proponents of my competitor, who was government leaning, that you vote, you are given 3,000, you are given 2,000 before you go vote.
Okay.
When you finish, you receive another 1,000 from the other side. So I couldn't keep up. So they took the cash and I was left there high and dry. So these are the dynamics of politics. I was baptized by fire.
Okay.
So I know these things. I took an early lead.
You took an early lead.
Yes.
Your party leader.
Yes. So the young people that are being picked, you see, it depends with the fortitude of an individual young person. What do you see? Because for me, I still maintain that what other young people are seeing as development, it is the same showbiz that I keep talking about here. I am seeing the sustainability of the things they are looking for. But I told Mundalo that if you think the other side has greener pasture, you are at will. These are freedoms that we've fought for.
Democracy.
Democracy. That if you think Safina is not offering the kind of country you want, there are options, and you are free to go. The same way people in other parties will see Safina as an option, and they will come. There is no problem. The issue is, and I said it elsewhere today, political parties are very important drivers of democracy in this country. And I've never been naive at any one point to say that political parties are bad. I have always criticized how political parties carry out their way. But I have never said we can bring change without political parties, not unless we have totally suspended systems and it's a revolution of the people. So where structures as we know them do not exist. But as structures as they are, you cannot bring meaningful change if you are not in a political party. Therefore, I cannot fault Morara for joining Jubilee because he has to be part of a structure that is running a country. Political parties run our issues. In policy, we elect members through political parties. So the only reform that we can be able to bring is we start at the political party level. There is no crime in joining a political party. The only issue I have is, what does that political party stand for? What's its agenda? What are you endeavoring to achieve? As a member of Jubilee, DCP, UDA, Safina, what is your global north? And what are you doing to achieve them? How do you intend to leave this country better than you found it? Those are the issues I have. So when I am in Safina, what are the reasons? One thing, and I'll be very pragmatic, is that out of these political leaders, all of them, who are watching me on TV, on their phones when I was in Bunge, there is only one man who saw potential in me and looked for me. And that is my party leader, Jimmy. For that reason, I cannot begin to be ungrateful at this stage in life. And again, when I met him, I bought the agenda he had. Because these politicians speak one thing in public and something else in private. For Jimmy Wanjigi, it's the same. The same thing you see him say on TV is the same thing he will say when you are just two of you in a room. That he has never deviated from emphasizing that we are looking for a better country for everyone, even those in opposition and in government. So that is what gives me...
The revolution of the young people that is now chipping away, because very big voices are now leaving. And I will not sit here and imagine that you've not had sweeters from the government or from any other person. I think as Joachim, you're well spoken. All right, you come with your presence. And there are lots of people out there that would love to have you in their own camp. But you see, we can only imagine why you have not left the camp of Safina. Because it is an ark with resources, with tea, with bread and butter.
With a red
My problem is the people that are in smaller camps with nothing going on, who are in shelters, they can be picked by the government. But how does that make you feel? How does that make you feel that these people are running away because they have probably not a very good house? The other day, I hear somebody was shouting Buddy's name at the top of his voice at Jacaranda. And the next day, he was seen in a small Demio car. He had left.
Those are cheap. Because my issue is this.
Okay.
When we are making noise about the dysfunctional economy, and you call me as Joachim, and you give me some goodies to be able to survive some of the torrents of the economy, we will be doing this. We will be using a private solution to a public problem. It's like telling me the road is slippery and muddy. When I'm complaining about the muddy and slippery road, you call me and say, Joachim, don't speak much. Take these gumboots, take this apron. You will walk on this muddy road without a lot of problems. And you walk around mocking the people who are shouting that the road is muddy and slippery because you've been given gumboots. Why don't we come together and make sure that you don't need gumboots to walk on this road? No. Because we have repaired the road. So the young people who have been chipped away, soon they will realize that the floods that Safina keeps on talking about, they have run into the deep ends. into the deep ends. And as you've said, it's not that I have not been talked to. I have. And the offers are big and beautiful. Today, tomorrow, you can see me if I wanted to. You can see me in Karen or somewhere in Lavington. But
I'm wondering because I'm just wondering because and you don't want to answer the question that I'm asking you, which is making me very sad.
What is the question? What is the question?
I'm asking you that the reason why you cannot leave is because everything else is at your father's house. Nobody is gonna tell you anything different. If it is Mercedes Benzes, they are there parked in your father's compound. If it is the money, I've been to Kwacha House. I consumed one of the best teas with gluten-free, cookies.
So you think? that the reason why Joachim has not left?
Yeah, it's because you can't entice him. But I want to move away from this conversation and go to Rigiji. Rigiji talks about abductions. And Rigiji is talking about Sakaja, and I think there is a place where Rigiji talks about Raila and DCP will take all the seats in Nairobi. You have that one? Yeah, that one. That's what.
There is a guy here saying, I'm fighting for my stomach.
Okay.
Who does it?
Watu hapa wameniambia wale wamekuja walikuwa kwa ODM wamesema tusiwasahau. Mimi niliambia watu ya ODM William Ruto amepanga kumaliza ODM. Wakaona kama ni mchezo. ODM iliuziwa William Ruto na Junet Mohamed, Gladys Wanga na yule mzee anasema anataka power. Hiyo mzee hata akipewa power, what will he do with it? Si hata kutembea ni shida. Sasa nikamwambia watu ya ODM, Ruto ameliniambia mimi, ameleta Raila karibu, ndio amalize ODM. Hataki chama kikubwa. He has reduced ODM kuwa chama kidogo ya Luo Nyanza. Na pia pale Luo Nyanza, hakuna mtu wako nyuma ya William Ruto. Akifukuza Sifuna na Babu kwa ODM ile kidogo imebaki imekwisha. Na mimi naambia Sifuna, wewe unangoja nini? Hii jamaa amekuangaisha, amekupangia. Why are you waiting? Si ukuje pahali wananchi wako. So mimi nataka niambie, from where I sit, ODM in Nairobi is finished. Hakuna kiti watapata hata moja. Kwa sababu hao wanafuata William Ruto na hana kura Nairobi. Zile kura William Ruto alikuwa nayo Nairobi, mimi ndio nilikuwa nimemkodisha. And with our numbers, tukisaidiana with my colleagues in the United Alternative Government, DCP will win kiti ya governor Nairobi. Na huyu Sakaja lazima aende nyumbani wakiwa na William Ruto. Katika viti 17, tutaweka candidates in every seat. And where we need to talk with our colleagues, tukubaliane so that we win all the seats. Viti yote 17 iende kwa United Alternative Government. All the 85 seats of the county assembly, zote tutachukua.
Something interesting, Mundalo, is that Gachagua has come out very strongly in pursuit of Nairobi governor. I don't know what you think about this. And a lot of people have told me that there is a lot of importance. The other day I was speaking to a very powerful former governor, and he was telling me that Nairobi County or Nairobi government is very important, even to a ruling president.
Yeah.
Raila's always loved Nairobi.
Yeah.
You'd rather take away the president, but he will always remain with Nairobi.
Yeah.
I wonder, 2 questions. Do you think that Gachagua takes Nairobi in 2027? And why would Nairobi be important to him? Because assuming that he does not even vie as a president and he loses, but he has Nairobi, what is so important about Nairobi for a politician?
I think on that one, Gachagua reads the political science right. That any strong political party leader, one of the places you'd really want to control is the city, because the city is not just a city. The city is the heart of power, is the seat of power. When you control Nairobi, you control even where the president stays. You are the governor for all the ministries and all the ministers, and everyone is here. So the first thing about Nairobi is a perception issue, because what Nairobi always does is perceived to be the voice of the country. And that's why when a demonstration happens everywhere else except Nairobi, it is not deemed as successful. But when the demonstration is in Nairobi, then we can easily be able to say that Kenya has been able to go on rampage because of this and this and this issue. So first of all, perception-wise, from any political party leader, Nairobi is very, very critical. Two, resources, Jagero. Nairobi collects, I think, averagely...
40 million a day?
Way over 40 million a day. Way over 40 million a day. I think it would be almost figures nearing about 100 million a day. Now, that is a lot of money. So the resource in itself alone is massive. Then you look at the level of control. That's why it's only in this city that talk about there's always the story of cartels. Cartels in the water sector, cartels in the construction sector, cartels everywhere. Because even garbage collection alone is a whole cartel arena. Because this is the city. So that is the reason why every political party leader would be very interested in the control of the city. And Rigathi has not started this just yesterday. You realize he started this some time back, because the moment he started not reading from the same script with the current governor, he really opened an onslaught against him. Even when he was still the deputy president, he had already opened a can of worms and an onslaught against the governor of Nairobi. The Nairobi governor is, in my view, the second highest political elected office away from the president, if I'm not wrong. That if after the president, for an elective
even the vice presidency deems in comparison.
Yeah, for an elective position, Nairobi is very, very significant. And that's why Rigiji is very interested in it. Remember, he also wants to fashion himself as, he has always fashioned the Mount Kenya community as the community that deals with business and all that kind of thing. So Nairobi being the heart of business, he really thinks he should be able to control Nairobi because of that. It's the Mount Kenya. You see, all of us know that his politics is always very local.
Yes.
It's Mount Kenya, Mount Kenya. So he really believes that Mount Kenya is the more dominant community and the more dominant region in Nairobi, and that's why he really is very interested in the control of Nairobi. Whether he gets it or not, I think part of me feels like it will be very hard for him, because unfortunately, again, most of especially Mount Kenya people in Nairobi, they vote outside Nairobi, so they vote back in their own constituencies, and also the dynamics of winning Nairobi are not necessarily as easy. That's why Raila has kept a hold on Nairobi, I think, for the longest time. I don't think there is any time that
I don't know. Sonko was not Raila's, and Sakaja obviously was not Raila.
Yes, but you can be able to see that when it was Sonko was more or less, Sonko was the kind of politician that even if you bring him back today, I think Sonko is one of the few politicians in Kenya that transcended tribe and political parties. One of the very few. I don't know whether we have any other, that you would be able to position Sonko even in Kisumu County, and he would be a front runner for the seat of Senate or governor in that county. He's one of the few politicians that we have had in Kenya who went way above tribe and way above the normal politique of Kenya. And I think that's why it was politically important for politicians to ensure that.
But Gachagua is pretty confident of winning it. Of winning Nairobi.
Gachagua is confident of everything, Jagero, except actually doing it. Yeah, he has always. You think
he's bluffing when he says that he's coming for Nairobi?
Did you listen to him when he talked about Mbere? Have you listened to him with all by-elections? Gachagua is a master at making things look real. Like, he can actually sound like, when you listen to him, you'll feel like, wow, the chicken are actually coming home to roast. But then later you realize he talks more than he plans. He talks more than he actually executes. And that's why most of the things he talks about don't necessarily come down to pass. You look at the things that have happened, even in the same Mount Kenya. You look at how he has lost by-elections in Mbeere and other parts of the country. But when you listen to him, you would think he's winning with a margin of over half. So in terms of, he knows how to exercise political bravado, but in terms of the planning, organization, and execution, I think it's not his strength. And that's why even when you look at the political party in itself that he leads, there's a lot of fragmentation. even in the political party. It's the only political party without a sitting secretary general. Yeah, it's the only political party without both a secretary general and a party leader. So that speaks to planning and execution. So it's one thing.
Why are those positions not filled?
They're not filled because, Jagero, number one, Rigathi Gachagua himself cannot be a party leader because he's an impeached person. He can't hold public office. Now, away from that, that's why he's not a substantive party leader of DCP. Now, because of that, that positions Malala as the party leader of DCP by fact and by documents. And that's why when you look at it, there is a lot of...
But Malala is going further and further away from...
And that's what I'm justifying,
okay.
Jagero. That Malala sits at the position of being the party leader of DCP. He sits at the position of being the real leader at the helm of DCP. And that's why you can be able to look at the body language of the people around DCP, because this is a party that has been fashioned as a Mount Kenya party. But one of the first seats that this party wins is in Kisa East, where Malala comes from. So it again speaks more to the reality that Malala is not a political juvenile. So he is the one who is actually, in terms of winning seats, is the one winning the seats. Now, when you look at the body language around the leaders of DCP and the party leader, you feel there is an element of fear around Malala, and that's why quickly they were able to change their Secretary General from my friend Hezron to now someone else. But again, they looked for someone who cannot be able to hold the office substantively. Because if at all they wanted someone to hold his office substantively, they would have looked for a person who does not belong to another political party. But what does Rigathi Gachagua do? He takes someone from UDA in the name of Senator Methu, who cannot become a substantive Secretary General.
What do you mean by substantive?
Substantive means this, Jagero, that you can be able to be gazetted. For instance, like my friend Joachim is substantive because he's gazetted by the Office of the Registrar of Political Parties. Because he's a member of the party and therefore he can be Secretary General. But now when you look at Methu, in words and speech and in color of dressing, he is DCP. But by fact and his membership in parliament, he is a UDA person. So he cannot be able to hold the position of Secretary General substantively. That shows you that the leadership here is being careful, because a Secretary General is a very powerful person in a political party. That's why ODM is having all these hulabaloo around the Secretary. He's a very powerful person. So you read that this party leader is trying to avoid a situation where he has a powerful Secretary General who is substantive, because himself is not substantive.
But then that's very shocking, because then if you look at DCP, they don't have a party leader by fact. Substantive, that's the word that you're using. They don't have a Secretary General substantive, that's the word you're using. What do they have that is substantive?
They have a deputy party leader in Cleophas Malala that is substantive.
So that deputy party leader?
Deputy party leader.
So in a sense, we can actually say that the substantive party leader of DCP is Cleophas Malala?
By fact.
But what do you think Cleophas Malala feels about this party? Do you feel that when he goes to sleep, this looks like his? He's far away from him.
When he goes to sleep, I'm sure Cleophas Malala knows that he is not seated pretty in this political party, and he knows that the motivation for them to have Senator Methu as Secretary General was inspired by him speaking a lot when the party leader was out of the country, and there was need to tame him. So this is a struggle to actually politically tame him. And because everyone also knows that Cleophas Malala is not a political pushover. He is a political dinosaur that you cannot just play around with. Remember, I've just told you, Jagero, that among the seats that DCP has, which I think are 2 only, that they have won, it is the first one is Kisa East, where Malala comes from. So this party that is deemed to be a Mount Kenya party, the only place where it has legitimacy in terms of a seat it has won is actually Kakamega, where Malala comes from. So that does not really augur well, especially within people who would want to position the party as coming from one region more than the other.
So are you telling me, are the people over there telling Malala come back home? What are you doing on the other side? Is that something that will be whispered to him?
Anything is possible, Jagero, and Malala is also a master of surprises. Remember, he pulled a surprise last minute when he moved to UDA and from ANC, and then he pulled a surprise and became the first person to support President Ruto, even before his party leader Musalia Mudavadi had actually crossed over.
You would not say that he's not seeing it. He's seeing it. He's not a fool. He's a political operative.
No, Malala is, if you want to count political fools, don't count Malala. Malala is a brilliant politician, and I'm sure that he also knows how to read the mood, and he can tell when things are going against him.
So if he's standing on a shifting sand, he knows.
He knows very well, and he'll surprise them, or he'll surprise people. Yeah.
Okay. What do you think of that, you Mr. I know you don't speak about other parties, but that's why you are largely quiet. But
I am being an active listener.
You're not. I know things that you don't talk about. But I want to take you to the Rigaji's castigating Uhuru Kenyatta. You have that video, and then he says that Uhuru Kenyatta has forgiven him. I want us to talk about that because there was something on the Nation newspaper that is very interesting, and we squabbled about it because people are telling Rigiji that the truce between him and Uhuru Kenyatta must come to fruition, and it is a bit interesting to me because I think they should have had that truce. But why is it that the drumbeats of truce is still being beat in Mount Kenya? Let's listen to that conversation.
Wachana na Rais Uhuru Kenyatta. Rais Uhuru Kenyatta alistaafu. Hako kwake Shaweli na kula mali yake na wajukuu. Huwezi kuwa ukipata shida kila siku unasema ni Uhuru Kenyatta. Sasa Uhuru Kenyatta na hako kwake utamuingilia na jihani. Sasa Uhuru Kenyatta ndiye amefanya SHA isifanye kazi. Ni yeye. SHA inafanya kazi. Si Uhuru Kenyatta. Don't blame Uhuru Kenyatta for your failure. Alipatia nyinyi serikali muendeshe. Alafu mtapatana na raia huko mbele kwa debe. But for now, leave Uhuru Kenyatta to be. He is retired, but that does not mean he is tired.
Ninaona hii watu ya Kasongo pale Ikulu wana shida hapo mikutano, wakisema ati Uhuru Kenyatta rais wetu hawezi fanya kazi na Rigiji. Mlijua namna gani? How do you know? Let me tell you, Kasongo, wewe hujui sisi. The fact tulikupatia kura unafikiria wewe unatujua. In fact, you think you are one of us. You are not. You don't know us. You don't know us. When myself, I've been personal assistant to President Uhuru Kenyatta for many years. I have worked with President Uhuru Kenyatta for 20 years, working close. Hii jamaa ameingia katikati yetu tumekosana mwaka 3. Sasa kati ya mwaka 3 na 20 ni gani mingi? So sasa na ni jamaa aliingia katikati yetu.
Hawajanipea mali nilikuwa nataka hii watu. But anyway, it makes sense. I will just tell the people of the audience during the inauguration of His Excellency the President of the Republic of Kenya, Dr. William Ruto, and Rigathi Gachagua, the Deputy President then, he castigated the government that was leaving in very harsh words. And I think that was coming from the fact that they have never seen eye to eye, especially towards the election of the presidential election of 2022. But there has a lot of been this truce thing that has been going on that we need to work with Uhuru Kenyatta. Mr. Mundalo, in my understanding, Uhuru Kenyatta was the king of Mount Kenya for a long time. I think this is coming shortly after the 2002 elections. He doesn't get a lot.
Yeah.
But in 2007, I don't know whether he stands as a president. No, he supports Kibaki.
Yeah.
Correct? And then in 2013, Kibaki throws his weight behind Uhuru Kenyatta.
Yeah.
And I think by then, Uhuru becomes the undisputed king of the Mount, right? And he would rule for another 10 years. But now, even as he was leaving, Ruto and Gachagua went to the Mount and did an aggressive campaign against Uhuru Kenyatta and his then candidate, the former Prime Minister Raila Odinga. Right now, it looks like Gachagua is the king of the mountain, for lack of a better word.
Yeah.
And I wonder where that leaves Uhuru Kenyatta and his money. Okay. Because now what is happening is that Uhuru Kenyatta is active in politics. You can hear from the clip that you've just played that Uhuru Kenyatta has retired, but he's not tired.
Yeah.
That's what they're saying. And so Uhuru Kenyatta has his presidential candidate in Matiang'i. Now he is joined by a firebrand, Mr. Morara Kebaso.
Yeah.
So I think that Uhuru does not speak much, but he's still there. So when they talk about the truce, can you contextualize this thing for me? What is going on in Mount Kenya? And what would be the ultimate truce look like? Yeah.
I think, Jagero, the relationship between President Uhuru Kenyatta and Rigathi Gachagua must first of all be understood that it is Gachagua who is more interested in a truce with Uhuru Kenyatta than the reverse.
Okay.
And the reason why he would be interested in this is because if he really is a political scientist, as he always says, he understands that you can have political energy and momentum, but fail on likability. So the person who has the energy here and the momentum, and he can talk every day, he can deal with 16 press conferences a day, is Rigathi Gachagua. He can go to as many churches as possible on one Sunday, is Rigathi Gachagua. But who is the likable person in Mount Kenya? The truth is that President Uhuru Kenyatta is more likable in Mount Kenya than Rigathi Gachagua. And that's why when you listen to the ordinary Mount Kenya person, they'll be able to tell you that we really like Rigathi Gachagua, but when you tell him, can you vote for him as president, they are reluctant on that. So the truth is that whereas this Rigiji has momentum and he has built a party to the level that he has been able to, he knows very well that for him to legitimize and really become king as he wishes to be, then he must have President Uhuru Kenyatta on his side, because he's the one who is likable to the people. He's the one that people feel they offended. Those ones who feel like they were wrong to go against his direction, if there's a person they feel they offended, then it is Uhuru Kenyatta. And the person who led the chant against President Uhuru Kenyatta was Rigathi Gachagua. President Uhuru did not lead any chant against Rigathi Gachagua. So, and if there is a person who attacked Uhuru the best, is him. The problem with our country is that politicians will always do the one thing that I've always talked about, the political convenience. That when it looks like it's fashionable for them to be with you, they want to pretend to like you. Now, that is what Rigiji is doing today. Because it's fashionable that when we go to the next election, it will be more fashionable if we go together, let me pretend that I like you. But the highest level of a speech of a politician is on his inauguration, Jagero. It is on the inauguration day that every politician tries to even pretend to say, I want to call upon those who we ran with, come, let us work together, even when they don't mean it. All politicians do that, even when they do not mean it. Joaquim would have done the same if he won Bunge la Mwananchi elections, even when he did not mean it. It's always the place where all politicians try as much as possible to sound national. Rigathi Gachagua was very different. At the height of inauguration, he still had time to attack the former president, who was actually handing over to them. He still attacked President Uhuru Kenyatta at that level. And it's always weird, Jagero, that the most fierce people who attacked Uhuru Kenyatta the highest, which is Rigathi Gachagua and Ndindi Nyoro, are today pretentiously the biggest defenders of the same person. And because Uhuru Kenyatta is not naive, and the people around there are not naive, and Jubilee Party is not naive, they know very well that this is not reality. These people are just pretending because of the politics. They know that this is just political convenience. It is not reality. We can't really bank on it going into the future. So Rigathi is really, really trying very hard to ensure that by the time he gets to 2027, he has a united front of the mountain. And one of the biggest reasons why he needs it is because he knows that when he goes to Mount Kenya in 2027, and there is DCP and Jubilee, then there will be quite a divide there. And that's why even when you look at the Ol-Kalau by-election, Jagero, DCP that set the rules in the previous by-election in Mbeere and said, when someone dies, we will be able to allow the party that has lost to field in that place. And that's why they fielded a DP candidate in Mbeere. When it got to Ol-Kalau, the former MP who had died was a Jubilee member of parliament. What did Rigathi Gachagua and DCP do? They refused to have Jubilee field as a single political party because Rigiji understands that the biggest enemy that he has is actually Jubilee. In fact, it's more Jubilee than UDA. Because if his mantle is in the control of the dominance of the region, then the only competitor for him that is a fierce competitor for the region is actually Jubilee. And that's why for him, it is more deadly when it's a fight against Jubilee and a fight against President Uhuru Kenyatta more than any other person. And sometimes when the fight is very deadly, you must also be able to put on gloves. And sometimes you can pretend that, you know what, let us come together. But it's best, it's not necessarily for the good, it's for the good of yourself. It's for your own selfish political interests.
So it is quite clear that Rigathi Gachagua appears to be this bad egg that we can throw onto the face of RUTO because it smells bad, but they also understand that we cannot cook it and eat it together with the rest of the Kenyans.
Exactly, you've put it to best.
That's okay, but then the question is, I want to go back to the question and ask you this. So Uhuru, what is he thinking? Because Uhuru has to make up his mind.
Yeah.
He has this younger brother. I don't know whether he's the younger one.
Yeah,
he's young, right?
Yeah.
That is taking away my block. Okay? But I have to be there. So why do you think Uhuru does not want to throw his entire weight behind Rigiji?
Because first of all, he knows who Rigiji is. We've just been able to speak about the reality of how the relationship was. And he knows that this relationship, this hand that is being extended to me, is not necessarily a white hand.
Yeah.
It is on the basis of a pretense so that we can be able to cross the Jordan. It is more about me helping you more than you helping me. And that's why I believe that Jubilee Party and President Uhuru Kenyatta, being political realists, this is what they will be able to look at. That's why they are delaying this relationship. It's because they know very well that when they come into the same fold with Rigiji, they give Rigiji legitimacy. That is the legitimacy that he really, really needs. When he gets this legitimacy, what does he then do with it? He becomes the political supremo of Mount Kenya. When he becomes the political supremo of Mount Kenya, Jagero, you don't know what will happen tomorrow. The courts might just say he can run. And that gives him a chance to be able to run for office. And that's why this this handshake is delaying. Because on the other hand, when you look at it, Jagero, this cabinet as it sits today, it has about, is it 4 or 5 of President Uhuru Kenyatta's people inside the cabinet of this government. So there is a hand of President Uhuru Kenyatta in this government. Those cabinet secretaries have not resigned. They are still there up to today. And so when you look at it keenly, you need to ask yourself, if Jubilee as a party is supposed to be looking at coming into office, then they must be able to be doing their mathematics and asking themselves, when President William Ruto comes back to office, he comes back to office for 5 years. Okay? And therefore, that gives us a chance in 2032 to run our candidate and then win and then come back to power. What about the other people? The other people on the opposition need to be president for 10 years. They need a government for 10 years. Which one is shorter? So normally, politicians will reason from a place that advantages them. And that's why part of me believes that by the time we take corners of 2027 going forward, it will not surprise you much to be able to see that the Jubilee Party and former president.
So what then does Uhuru want? What then does Uhuru want in the next government? He wants to mark time for 2032. Is that the case?
Exactly, because 2032 you will be able to be having a clean slate because then President Ruto will have finished his term. Therefore, Jubilee, in the event you run Matiang'i now, and Matiang'i loses, he'll be formidable enough by 2032. Or, even if the reverse does not happen, then whoever else that you'd want to be the candidate, at that level, you'll not be competing an incumbent. It will be fairer ground to actually play on.
Do you feel that we are likely to have Matiang'i standing, vying as a presidential candidate, independent of the united opposition?
I have always stood that position, Jagero. I've always told you that Matiang'i will run for president. Why? And that is not necessarily on the advice of maybe the President Uhuru Kenyatta. But Matiang'i is also a person of his own and he has a brain of his own. We must not always believe that every decision of his must be controlled. But look at it.
But
Matiang'i
Uhuru is the party leader.
Very true, Jagero. But the person with the ambition today, the person with the ambition is Matiang'i.
And somebody would tell you that Matiang'i cannot run for presidency if Uhuru says no, because then he will have to get his own party.
Very true.
And if he was to go against the president, the incumbent, and other people that will join the fray, such as Sifuna and anybody that DCP fronts, whether it is Kalonzo Musyoka or Cleophas Malala or Methu, then what happens? Matiang'i will need money to run, and Uhuru is probably his insurance in as far as that is concerned.
You know, money is important in politics, Jagero, but money is not the only thing, and it's not always everything. Sometimes you look at what is your political strategy. I look at it, and from a strategic perspective, it is more strategic for Matiang'i to run. Because today, Matiang'i is, the reason why Morara is rushing to Matiang'i today is because when he goes to the ground, he can be able to feel like the political supremo here is becoming Matiang'i. But why is he a political supremo today there? It is not because he's Raila Odinga, who has been fighting for the people all this time, and that's why he's the king of the community. It is just because it is anchored on the basis that this region feels like for the first time they are having a presidential candidate who looks formidable. Yeah. And because of that, they would want to coalesce around him. They have no other reason. And so the moment he stops being a presidential candidate, people stop coalescing around him. The moment he drops the ball of being a presidential candidate, now even him raising the hand of anybody in Kisii region will not make sense. You will actually just lose. Because the only reason people want to move around him is because the Kisii community is feeling like, wait a minute, it's not even whether we win this election, it's about we are having a candidate who is formidable, that we can also run for president and even negotiate with whoever wins in the future. So it's political reality and political strategy for him as a person. In the event he does not run, then in my view, his politics will have come to a very unprecedented end, because I don't see how it then works up in the future.
And that is why I don't understand why Joachim's party leader, Mr. Jimmy Wanjigi, is not coming to the rescue of His Excellency, the former Deputy President, Mr. Rigathi Gachagua. He needs the money. He's going with an empty bowl to Uhuru Kenyatta's doorstep, but he can also go to Kwacha House. Why can't he go to Kwacha House? Why can't you? What is the problem? What do you have a problem with? I mean, he's a bad egg, but you can throw it in somebody's face. Why don't you use him?
So then what? So that what happens?
But at the end of the day, your party leader is a business person. I mean, good things come with power.
What is the business here?
Huh?
What's the business?
If you negotiate with Rigiji takes over the government by proxy.
No, that's exactly.
Yeah, you are in government.
That's exactly.
You get to do business. You get to build expressways.
Then how different is it going to be than the way it is today? We are against proxy politics. If we were for proxy politics,
you can influence from within.
No. We want to be the influence, not influence from within.
But then my question still stands. Then bring Rigiji.
Why?
But Rigiji is coming with 10 million votes. That's what he said.
Who told you?
Himself.
Who told you?
He said, right?
Let me tell you.
Said so. You know, I've told you, Jagero,
no. Before you say something.
Yes.
Kenyans are going to follow someone who will be on the ballot. If you are not going to be on the ballot, samahan. Yes. So don't be in a hurry. Well, one thing I agree with Mondalo, what he has said, is that by next year, March, these formations you are discussing here will not be existing. We'll have very new formations. Because we have not lost the plot. If we were about the usual politics that is played in this country, what is so hard for us to do the same? It's very easy. It's a phone call. Say, can we have breakfast?
Yeah.
And a press conference.
Yeah. Tomorrow you see a press conference of people together. It's not that hard.
But everybody is dying for that unity.
Imagine
Jimmy Wanjigi in the same room with the Rigiji. Bring Uhuru Kenyatta with his pass into the room. You add to Wanjigi's pass. I mean, you are taking over the country in the morning.
Then what?
You are taking the country in the morning.
Then what?
You decide how to rule. Because my problem with you is that you are thinking that when you bring all these other parties, then ruling will be difficult. You just tell them that, look, Jimmy is pretty persuasive. Jimmy is gonna tell them, look, guys, we are in problem, and this is how we are going to get out of this problem.
You know what gives him the power to be persuasive?
Okay,
is that he has nothing tied on his feet. He can tell you off, and you can go, and there is nothing you can do But once you start receiving favors from these characters. Yes. Then how can you continue being persuasive? You see, we are not against unity, and this I have to be very candid. Unity is a very important thing, very important. But we have always insisted the reason for unity is what? We have to be clear on that. What we are saying is 100 miles different from what these other people are saying. The question was posed to Rigathi Gachagua about payment of debt. He said we have to pay. So what are we uniting on? If it's about sending William Ruto home, that unity will send him home in the morning.
Like I've said.
Very early. Then you remember when people were going to Lancaster Conference in 1956, they were so united. Ronald Ngala, Daniel Moy, Tom Mboya. Their unity was one. We want Mzungu gone. And they had a very valid reason to unite. But the blind spot, they did not imagine life without Mzungu. They didn't have it. So when Mzungu was out of the picture, you know what happened. Less than 2 years after independence, Jaramogi and Kenyatta had fallen out because of difference in ideology. We don't think we are running the country the way we wanted. Kenyatta has his own ideology, Jaramogi. J.M. Kariuki, who was a personal secretary to Kenyatta, disagreed with Kenyatta publicly. In 1973, he stood and said, no, we are becoming a country of 10 millionaires and 10 million poor people. Bildad Kagia served detention with Kenyatta. They disagreed about land policy. Do you know why they all disagreed? It's because they didn't have an agenda after independence. The reason why that scenario is being replayed, I don't know if it's true to say that history repeats itself or people make the same mistakes. Because our imagination of independence is the absence of William Ruto. But now, we need to be very clear that when we are uniting, we have one thing we are uniting on in the absence of William. William Ruto is just one individual. We have a country to take care of. What is it that we want to achieve after sending William Ruto home? William Ruto is like a door preventing us from entering a room. We have to be clear on what to do when we are into that room. Very clear. So that we do not enter this room and start quarreling. When the reason why we broke in is that the ones who are in this room were just quarreling. We stand a very big risk of winning an election in the morning and lacking what to say in the afternoon. That's the biggest risk. I told you, and I've said this thing here on this podcast, time without number, that our easiest job as the opposition, everyone, is to win election. our hardest job is what to tell Kenyans after winning. You know, if it's just about sending William Ruto home, unity is very important. We don't have to discuss. Wewe kuja, one term, pa. Then tunarudi hapa tunaanza kusema tunataka ku imagine vile tumepiga kelele. I want you to imagine. Then we are having our first finance bill 2027-2028. Ndio. Si tumepiga kelele kabisa. Then we are having a finance bill because this one is seeking to raise 120 billion. 2027-2028, the economy will be more dire than it is today. So we will be seeking to raise at least 350 billion from Kenyans. So we will come up with proposals that seek to increase VAT, pay as you earn, introduce a new other taxes. The reason why Kenyans will be voting for us very early in the morning is so that taxes is not added. Imagine our first finance bill. Ikuwe hapa karibu. Imagine our first finance bill is proposing increment of taxes. Imagine our first budget being read in June 2028 is saying we have a budget of 5.7 trillion. Our revenue will be 3 trillion. We are going to borrow 2.5 trillion. Just imagine that scenario. You see, people are not imagining what it will be like when we are in government. They are just focused on being in government. So before Rigiji goes to Kwacha House, what will be the discussion? What's the point of convergence? What are we uniting on? There is nothing like we don't like unity. We do. We do. But on what agenda? Our global north is the agenda that works for the people. And as Mundalo said, it's the hardest politics one can ever play. To make sense to Kenyans that it's about them, not us. It's the hardest job. Otherwise, we just say Jimmy Wanjigi is a Kikuyu. Who can qualify to be on the ballot? Forget about Uhuru and Gashagua, he cannot run. And that will be the song. Kikuyus vote for him. Then he's president. Then what? We persuade people around here. You drive a car to Sifuna's residence very late in the night. You give him a sack of money. Tomorrow he has a press conference with Jimmy. We win. Then we come here on this podcast. Mimi sasa ukinipigia simu sishiki juu nakuja kusema nini?
So, Mr. Mundalo, we have a Tower of Babel.
Yes.
That itapromoka anytime. and this is very interesting because if you look back in 2002, the only person that was of consequence and that was standing before Raila Odinga and Raila Odinga's Kibaki Tosha and Kibaki himself was just basically Nyachai. Yeah. In 2002, and when they were at Serena Hotel and they were about to cross over into Uhuru Park to declare Nyachai as the presidential candidate of 2002, that would then go against Moi's peak, Mr. Uhuru Kenyatta then. But when you take several steps into the future, you get a 2002, which looks very strange. Yeah. We have 2002, which looks, like I've said, is looking like a Tower of Babel. Yeah. We have Wanjigi up there. We have Sifuna up there. We have Gachagua up there. We have Matiang'i up there. We have Kalonzo Musyoka up there. We have got scores of them up there. Put in Maraga.
It's the same thing.
Yeah, but then
let me point to you how it's exactly the same thing.
Okay.
Before 2002, we had a very popular movement called Muungano wa Mageuzi.
Okay.
Today we have Linda Mwananchi. The leader of Muungano wa Mageuzi was James Orengo.
How things change. The more they change, the more they remain the same.
Muungano wa Mageuzi.
So Linda Mwananchi is the new
Muungano wa Mageuzi.
Muungano wa Mageuzi.
Typical Muungano wa Mageuzi.
Young as Sifuna.
Yes.
Firebrand like Sifuna.
The James Orengo was something else. People like Arab Kirwa, they were part of it. How did it end. They started accusing each other. Arab Kirwa is hard saying that Orengo is using Muungano wa Mageuzi to do his own campaign. So it disintegrated. 1 year to election, no one envisaged Kibaki being president.
Everybody was looking at Orengo.
No one. The attention was on Moi and Uhuru Kenyatta and Raila Odinga. That was the most vibrant formation. People were waiting to see what will Moi say and what will be the reaction of people like George Saitoti. That's the area that had heavyweights, the Kalonzo Musyokas of that time. So people were paying attention more on what? On Moi. Omaro Kijana just used to wake up and go to Westlands and watch cartoon and go back home. Speak his very good English in a press and go back home.
To watch cartoons?
Yes, he loved cartoons. Nobody took Wamalu as a serious candidate, but he became vice president because things changed at the last minute. So I'm telling Kenyans, not to things, nothing is new under the sun. I can tell you the exact same thing. So today, William Ruto is waiting for one thing: a clear ticket of the opposition. Then he will make a move. You heard when my party leader saying Ruto will play his karata. Yes. He's waiting to see.
What is that karata?
So you say, for example, let me use this example.
Okay.
Samahani, wale mutakazirika.
Yeah. Say it before we kazirika.
So we were talking about Kalonzo Sifuna ticket. Sindio?
Okay.
So Ruto looks at, that is the ticket. Okay. So these are Mukamba and Amuluya. William Ruto will run very fast and drop Kindiki as his running mate.
Really?
Yes. And pick a Kikuyu. You don't know Kikuyus. When he picks a Kikuyu.
I know Kikuyus, and he's here on the comments.
When he picks a Kikuyu as his running mate, and he tells them, the way Mundalo said, you don't have to wait for 10 years. Mina wajia ikitu. A Kikuyu candidate. Kikuyus will stop thinking about William Ruto as a bad person. They will start thinking about their own interest. They will vote for William. William Ruto will win in the morning, very early.
Oh my God.
So let's not rush.
That makes Mundalo very happy.
No, you see, sometimes we have to be very pragmatic. And we are not playing this blind politics.
Yeah.
You look at our kind of politics, we are putting all cards on the table. It's like
and then so when he takes a Kikuyu as a vice president, therefore
Kindiki remains as a sitting deputy president. All right? Then we have a Kikuyu candidate as deputy president. William Ruto winning means that Kikuyu, he immediately becomes a lame duck president. So that Kikuyu deputy president begins running the show, grooming their own. Where do you think they will vote? No, let us forget a lot of noise. Where do you think they will vote?
Can I ask a political pundit to also tell me? Do you think what he's saying? What do you think about that? Ruto and a Kikuyu from the west as a running mate.
Yeah.
What does that do?
It does exactly what Joachim is speaking about. Because you see, politics is played in its reality, not in its imaginations. And the truth is that the politics as it stands today, most of the people who are in the opposition politics today, the conflict of ego among them, when you say it even from face value, cannot enable them to have a united candidate. The reason why somebody is seated somewhere imagining that they'll have one candidate is because hope is a good thing to have. And so all of us are being hopeful, and we are just imagining stuff. But in its reality, these people cannot be able to have one united front, and they cannot have one candidate because of their own ego and selfish interests. Most of the time, just the way he talked about the muungano wa mageuzi at that time, there is always a chance for a country to have sometimes a compromise candidate. Yeah, and that sometimes happens. But when the country misses the moment, then the moment is gone. For instance, in 2002, if it was not for Raila Odinga, it's highly likely that Uhuru Kenyatta would have become president.
Very early in the morning.
Because what Raila Odinga did is to break that crack of sitting in the boardroom and deciding who should be the candidate. He went to the rally and declared, and because everyone was there, it became so untenable for you to say you're not part of it, because the celebration was so high. So you reading from a different script would make you the automatic so that sometimes happens. And Jagero, if you remember very well, do you know why Raila had to do this?
No.
There was a compromise candidate at that time. The problem was the candidate chickened out of being the candidate. I don't know whether you know Reverend Mutava Musimi.
Yes.
Reverend Mutava Musimi then was the compromise candidate of the opposition. But Reverend Mutava Musimi chickened out and he didn't want to participate in the politics. Then he was the chair of the NCCK. And he was deemed and seen in the country as a very forward-thinking leader who understood where the country ought to be. And that way, the leaders, including Mwai Kibaki and others, they are the ones who are fronting him. Mwai Kibaki was among the people fronting Mutava as a compromise candidate. Now, at that time, the reason why it was able to work was that Raila came and said whatever he said. And Raila was also a very domineering figure of the opposition. Today, when I look at that opposition, I don't see a heavily domineering figure in that opposition that can play the role of Raila Odinga. And also, these people have already started being too careful about each other too early. It has started being very hard for you to see a rally anywhere that has all of them together. That should be able to speak volumes, because I've always argued that in politics, what you see is exactly what is. You don't need to overimagine. Of course, politicians will give you excuses. We're not together because you see one had a sick child, another one had a sick grandmother, and all that. But the truth is, when you're not seeing them together consistently, then know that there is actually a problem. These people are actually not reading from the same script. Reading from the same script politically for politicians is very hard because of their own selfish interest. Look at what's already happening in Linda Mwananchi. The first one was Caleb Amisi, who said, no, wait, this is not the direction that we want to go. The next one is now Otsotsi, who is telling Sifuna, hey, but why can't you just leave ODM? Because even us, yata sisi tulitoka bwana. Why are you still there? Because at the end of the day, rallying people together and putting people together on a political bus to go and look for power for you, it is not an easy task. And that's why the harder conversation that Wanjigi and Safina are trying to have is only being had by two people, if you ask me, in this country. Because Safina is trying to say that, you know what, it is not just about winning the election. It's about the agenda after the election. And we believe that debt is a problem that we want to tackle. Good agenda. Yeah? But everyone else is boxing them and saying, no, just join the rest.
We will figure it out later.
You see? Now, the only other person speaking, in my view, speaking something that is against solid is President William Ruto, who is also saying, these are the troubles of this country, and one, I'm doing an infrastructure fund. Yeah? Is it bond or fund? And this is my path to Singapore. And this is what I'm going to build. And I'm promising that in 7 years, I want to build 28,000 kilometers of road that we have not been able to achieve since our independence. And these are the challenges of the young people, and this is the employment that we want to do. He's the one saying, this is what I am actually doing, and this is what I want to do. Another fact. So the only person who looks like, who is giving the promise as heavily as Wanjigi's is President William Ruto. The rest of the politicians that we are having are very skeptical about saying what they want to do, because it's the harder conversation. All they want us to discuss is they want us to get into office accidentally through using hate as a strategy. That because you are going to hate this person, it will make me the automatic beneficiary. And then unfortunately for us as a country, which makes us, sometimes I wonder whether we know what we want, is we are telling the people who have something to offer to join the ones who don't have anything to offer. Because I'm not understanding why they struggle to bully Wanjigi to tell him he must join these ones. But he's joining them to go where? So at the end of the day, sometimes as a country, if we want to make sense of ourselves as a country, we can't just exercise politics of expedience the way our politicians do.
Bwana, sisi ndo tunajua mahali supu iko. Hawa wanatafuta. Sasa tuwachane na hii mahali supu iko, tuende tukawajoin tutafute. Wao ndo wakuja tuwaambie kujeni, supu ndio hii hapa. It's that simple.
But there is a question that people of the internet, we are opening our phone lines right now. Please take care of the
there
cables.
There is this guy first. Anaitwa Harrison.
Yes.
Zai Kombe.
If you can call us through the normal line, that would be very great. If you're outside the country and you want to call us through WhatsApp, that is also fine. But before I go back to Mr. Joachim, I want to stay with you.
Yeah.
How does Rigathi Gachagua behave when he realized that actually Ruto is coming for a raid by, announcing a deputy president from Mount Kenya West?
I don't know how he behaves then, because remember, by that time, the assumption is that they will have already come up with their lineup. So there is very little you can actually do. You now have to swallow your pride and swallow the cake as it came. And Rigathi Gachagua, I'm sure, also knows that politically, William Ruto is his senior. And he knows very well that President William Ruto is not a roadside politician.
No,
he's a very serious politician. In fact, not by my words, but by the admission of all of them.
No, William Ruto is a roadside politician.
There is none of this.
You are saying that Ruto is not a strategist?
No. What I mean by
what
I mean by a roadside.
Perhaps you pass the English past you. Do you want to say that the English passed you? Is it the English that passed you?
Hello.
I don't get finished.
When you ask a question, when you ask a question, you let me answer.
You have not been asked
what I mean by being a roadside politician is that he does most of these things by the roadside.
Moi style.
Now that is the simplistic understanding. But what I meant,
I thought that the English had passed him.
Yeah, but it's understood. Sometimes English where cannot meet all of us at the same level.
English is one of my very strong areas. So you don't start saying that.
Can we speak to the caller? The caller is on the line.
You can't compare President William Ruto's politics, strategy, and all that to Jimmy Wanjigi. Yeah, unless we are comparing.
No, let's not go into politics of person.
Yeah, but no, he's the one. I'm just trying to compare so that he can be able to see
you can't compare
because
can we listen to the caller?
We can't ignore a politician the only politician in this country today who has never lost an election since he got into politics is President William Ruto.
Hello.
So how do you compare him with a person who has never run?
Hello.
No, he has never run.
Yes, good evening.
Make it to the ballot.
Good evening to you, Jagero. How are you?
I'm very well. I don't know why we can't hear him properly, bro. Can you up something so that we can hear him? Yes.
Is it okay at the moment right now?
Yes. You're loud and clear. What is your name and where are you calling us from, brother?
My name is Dennis Asia.
Okay.
I'm calling from Homa Bay.
All right.
A place called Rodi.
Rodi Kopany.
Rodi Kopany, yes, sure.
Very good. Barabara ni mbovu. Gladys Wanga is doing wonders down there. Joachim is really complaining about the road.
Yeah, there are places actually. When you're coming from Rangwe, also when you're coming from Homa Bay towards Rodi, the roads are not good. It's true.
Okay. What do you think about Mada Leo?
Yes, I've listened to the discussion since when he started talking.
Okay.
And sincerely, I hold the same view as Mundalo.
Okay.
I don't see any formidable person who is ready strategically and also politically to face Ruto.
somebody would say that you are saying that because you're a Luo. Nyinyi wote mmenunuliwa na William Samoei
No,
Ruto.
I just live in Rodi, but I come from Kakamega.
Okay.
Yes, my own place is in Kakamega.
Oh, so you are coming as authentic as you can.
Yes. So so far I've not seen any person from the opposition who can stand before Ruto and win the election.
All right, thank you very much.
Okay.
Hello?
Hello.
Yes, good evening. What's your name and where are you calling us from, brother?
Yes, I'm calling from Nairobi.
You're calling from Nairobi. What do you think about today's topic?
I think, remember we've discussed these things before. And let me just be very clear.
Okay.
Regarding Gachagua is impeached.
Is impeached.
I find it very difficult to understand Kenyan society because in any civilized society, a person of Gachagua, people should not be talked about because it's a non grata, person non grata in the society. Remember, in the British, in the last 10 years, I think we've had prime ministers resigned. For whatever reason, we don't know, but they have resigned in quite number. You don't hear those people talk about them. They focus on their future. So in Kenya is where somebody is legally, constitutionally, procedurally impeached. Then he stays put and then forms a party, and then people are even holding that. Look at the disgrace that we have. At the very at the same people is telling you that somebody who is in peace is actually credible to give them information, and they expect that person to form within the next government. Look at how ridiculous that is.
Okay.
Look at the silliness part of it. So, and how do we normalize the wrong things, mediocrity, to become normal things? Things that we should not even talk about.
Okay.
The other guy, the Joachim, who is the Secretary General of Safina Party, the party leader, one of the billionaires in Kenya, courtesy of the rotten system. You can't trace what he has done to be a billionaire. He has never been an entrepreneur, has not constructed any whatever. He's not an inventor or talented in any way.
He's one of the biggest exporters of avocado in Kenya.
No, do you know the biggest export of coffee in Kenya, Ndugu?
Look at this, but where is the tax commensurate to what you have?
Where did you say you come from?
Just wait.
No, answer my question. Where did you say you come from?
I have no other obligation to respond to you.
Yes, where did you say you come from?
Allow me to make my point.
No, it's just a straightforward
where
question.
I come from is a non-issue. How does that
I just want to understand if you know what you're talking about.
Then I respond to you once I'm done. So let me just be, because I'm not the only person going to talk. There are very many people waiting. So, these characters telling us the odious date, and the other time I heard Joachim himself say that constitution support, there is nothing like odious date in the entire constitution of Kenya, both constitution and any other applicable law, because odious date is a concept that must be anchored in law for you to understand it. Just like the Public Finance Management Act is in law. So if you want to use provisions of the Constitution to support the idea that there is audit date, but the word odious date does not explicitly be expressed in Constitution, but there is a concept of odious date in Constitution, that is false.
Can I ask you a question, Ndugu?
That must be anchored in law.
No, I want to ask you a question.
In Kenya,
can Joachim ask you a question?
I just want to ask you a question. Are you listening?
Yes, I'm listening to you.
Do you know the guiding principle in borrowing alone in Kenya? Can you tell us so that we understand what are the boxes to tick when you are borrowing?
Let me just give you overall view. you only borrow for development.
Okay, by which process?
Hello?
By use of which process?
No, borrowing, if I have to explain the borrowing process, it will take time. I understand borrowing process. So what have you just given me?
It's just, let me...
Just wait.
Can we go to another call and then...
It is important he leaves this podcast better than he came.
Let's go to another call and then we can hold this later on, because this one is... You are squabbling between audience debt, which is a bit... is Hello?
Yes, good evening.
Yes. Where are you calling us from, brother? And what is your name?
I'm calling from Dubai. I will hold my name. So, what I'd like to say today is I'd like to tell Gen Z, welcome to the Kenyan politics.
Welcome to the Kenyan politics.
Exactly, because they used to tell us that we are not our fathers, we are not our parents, but now the reality has checked in. Yeah, so there is a lot of infiltration, and that is our politics in Kenya. When you see a person like Morara Kebaso joining Jubilee, I believe that he had a party called Injection.
Yes, inject.
But it never took off. So when he's joining Jubilee, does it go with his policy or does it go with his ideology? Because now, if Jubilee today they agreed to shake hands with UDA, where will he stand? Is he the person who can stand on his own and say that I can go against the party, like the way John McCain, he stood against Republican and he said that he will not repeal Obamacare. So can he do that? Can we have people, because that is what we need in our next parliament. That is what we don't have. We have people who are being called for a PG meeting, and they are told that this will be your majority leader, this will be your whip, and they toe to the line. Whether the person has integrity or not, they have to toe the line.
All right.
So is Morara Kebaso ready for him to be told that a person like Sudi is going to be his majority leader? Will he agree to that? Will he toe to the line? Or will he stand to his principle and say, I cannot do this? You see, that's why we have very short ministries and stuff like that, because of the issue of people not standing for what they are being elected for, representing the people.
Yeah.
So for the Gen Z, my message to them is, I'd rather be not politically right or not go with the majority, but I stand with something. That's why for me, I normally say the issue of audience debt is more important to be the question of the next election than anything else. But
now you are celebrating the falling off by the wayside of the Gen Z. I thought that you would rather would have told them to stick by what they believe in and where they believe that Kenya should go to. I thought you'd say that they need to drain the swamp.
No, those are very few of them. It's very few. It's not the majority of them. But now, the Gen Z, now they can see that. Okay. In our eras, we used to have those people who are on the other side, and their majority who are on this other side. And that's what we used to tell them. But they used to tell them we are not your parents. So they used to say that we have a unity of purpose. But now, right now, they can see that some of them are Mefika Bay. You understand? Their cadres are imefika. There are others who are being bought very cheap. There are others who have gone expensive. They have been taken for this abroad, for these causes and stuff like this. And they decided to cross the line. So now the reality is checking in.
All right. Thank you. Thank you very much, sir.
About Shakira, the Shakira you are talking about two things. Shakira happened in 2024 where she stood firm with the flag raising up high. Yeah. And then in 2025, she tried to unmask a police officer because there was a court order that police officers should not be masked. So she tried to unmask and then she ran off. That is what you are trying to check. Yeah, that is what you are trying to check when you're talking about Shakira.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Hello.
Hello, political headache.
How are you doing?
I'm good. This is Peter from California.
Okay.
Yes. So on today's topic, what I want to say is that the people of GACHAGUA is that he still thinks in the old days where he thinks that Mount Kenya is the dominant people in Nairobi. But what GACHAGUA doesn't know is that majority of the Mount Kenya people actually live in Kiambu, but they live in Nairobi. And that is the reason why that even if you look at the subsequent elections that have happened, it has been difficult for Kenya to have a Nairobi governor.
Yeah, I don't know if you can hear the caller, but it's really breaking. We can't hear you properly. We can't hear him properly. It is really breaking on that other side. So, well, I asked you, Mr. Joachim, about what now the Gen Z should do, but you're saying that, look, they will have to join whatever impresses them, which is like you've resigned to the fact that Ruto can come and get all of them and you have no problem with them going.
No. I have a big problem because that means that as a generation we have betrayed what we are supposed to do. And as a generation, when you betray your call, you live to reap the consequences.
Yeah.
All your life and the lives of your children. Because when we talk about working for Kenya, it's not just about brick and mortar. It's about people being sure that they will be alive tomorrow. Last year, June 2025, we were discussing Rex Masai and Denzel Omondi. Today, there is more people added on the list. Lichuma, Ojiro. Who knows who is next tomorrow? So some of the people think that they are immune to some of these actions being happening on other people. Some of the people think that you actually have to be in the protest for you to meet a stray bullet. Some of the people are usually leaving their job, going home, and then a stray bullet hits their medulla oblongata. So as we were saying during COVID, is no one is safe until we are all safe. So as the young people who actually rose against the system, and we shook the system, and today we are being swallowed by the same system, we are not getting into this system as friends. We are getting into this system as marked individuals because the system is not sure that our defiance is really dealt with. And as they all say, things for them to be sure that you are not able to bring another defiance now from inside, they will deal with you decisively. So here, just to respond to one of the comments to someone called Dan Eric, what will be Kenya's inflation situation when it defaults on debt? I don't know why people force us to talk about default when we never have talked about default at any one point. We are talking about canceling the illegal debt. That's not default. Because default is failing to pay what you actually owe, the debt you took. The debt that is not even reflecting in your accounts, that you didn't even take it. How do you say that you defaulted? The term is canceling, not default. Default is a completely different thing. So when I see young people being bought, but again, we are saying we are draining the swamp. The swamp is so deep, it will take some of us. It will take some of us. And
it is like you die in war.
Yes.
Mr. Mundalo, your last words as we close this podcast.
Thank you, Jagero. I think the first thing I want to say is, as I finish, is that we must stop the imagination that Gen Z being on the right track means them being in the track that is in our minds.
Yeah.
When the Gen Z choose that they can be able to see that they can compare this side and this side and choose that government is doing better, that does not mean the Gen Z have retrogressed.
Yeah.
It just means they're able to see what is being done. When the Gen Z are able to look and say, for instance, that coffee farmers were uprooting coffee just as we were heading to 2022 election, and today they are being paid almost, I think, up to 100 shillings for coffee, that does not mean they have retrogressed. They have just seen what is being done. When these Gen Zs are able to look and say, wait a minute, when you look at the rate at which our house helps were crying online, those ones who have gone to Dubai, and they were crying every day about how they are being mistreated and all those kind of things, and they can't see the same today, then they can be able to really appreciate as young people and say, you know what, then I think the bilateral relations that the president has been signing all over, especially in the UAE, are actually working. So when these young people are able to see such things, they're able to see the roads that are being opened, like just the one on Gong Road and the Rironi Mau Summit Road, and the bilateral relations with other countries, when they can see that and then they can compare with the rest and they find this better, you don't start saying that they are losing the point and they are not sticking to their course. No, it just means they're able to see that there is better governance here. When the Gen Z, like the one who just called, is able to say, wait a minute, what is odious debt? It does not exist in our constitution. He is right that truly we do not have something like odious debt in our constitution. We do not have something as odious debt under international law. So when they question and say, how do you plan to deal with it? You can't say they are losing track. No, they are just actually questioning the agenda that has been presented to them. And true as the sun rises from the east, odious debt is a concept that has not been tried anywhere in the world. It has not worked anywhere in the world. And so they are right to fear and say, wait a minute, is this really the direction that you actually want to take us? So for me, I feel like at the end of the day, let us allow the democracy thrive in Kenya. Let us allow people choose the side that they want to support. And let us not be able to box people to think the way we think. Some of us think that anyone who thinks that whose thoughts do not align with ours, then that means that person is wrong. No, they are not wrong. They just don't agree with you, and it's okay for people not to agree with you. Let us be able to persuade each other on the basis of our points. Let us heighten the voice of our reason and not the voice of the voice of our emotions. That way, we will be able to get to a cornerstone conversation where we can all be able to understand each other.
Yeah, thank you very much, Mr. Mudalo. Always a pleasure having you here.
Pleasure.
Joachim, thank you very much for coming. I wish you well with the Tower of Babel. I hope that when it didn't disintegrate too much. I want to thank Mr. John Tess, who has been on the camera on TikTok. Thank you very much. And I want to thank Howie, who has been doing the research today and cutting of the videos, and Frank, who has been on the deck. Thank you very much, people of the internet. I always think that you're the people, the star of the show. I see the town hall that is going on there, and I really, really love it. If you're not subscribed to Political Headache, please do subscribe to Political Headache. I thank you very much, and I wish you a very, very, very good rest of the week. And until another episode, bye for now. All right, people of the internet, I hope that you're enjoying this episode very much. And I just had a break to tell you about my new book. You know, everybody says that there is no job, and that is true. Also, that was me 10 years ago. The problem is that everybody is trying to get a job in their town, in their city, in their marketplace. They ask friends for jobs, mothers call uncles, uncles call brothers, but there are no jobs. Let me tell you what no one is telling you. Jobs migrated online. What I actually mean is there are many, many jobs around the world, and there is no one to do them except you. I work for Americans myself. I work for Europeans. I work for the Chinese. I work for the Australians. I work for the Canadians. And so, because I have done so much for myself, I said to myself, you know what? I should compile what I've been doing for the last 15 years. So in 2024, I wrote a digital book called Goldmine 18 Hustles for Africans. And then in 2025, AI came. People say AI is taking away our jobs. And for me, I'm going to say false. There are actually AI jobs. Jobs are not being taken by AI, but there are new jobs online that are there because of AI. Now, mimi ni nani? I created more jobs. And for now, in my new book, we have 25 online and offline jobs that you can leverage on if you do not have a job. So in this powerful volume 2, I share 25 new actionable online hustles specifically researched and tailored for Africans. My new book provides clear step-by-step guidance drawing from my extensive experience and research, including the mistakes I've made and lessons I've learned over the 15 years that I have worked online. So what can you do online? You can become an executive assistant for busy folks in Europe, America, Canada, and get paid for tasks like watching videos and taking online surveys. Okay? You can build a lot of things. Build a business as a virtual assistant, start an e-commerce shop without capital, be an affiliate marketer, or you can also become actually an English tutor and tens of AI jobs. If you have a job, that is fine. But I also know that you can buy this book for that brother, for that sister, for that mother, for that cousin, for that husband who is watching Netflix all day at home. Buy it for your friend who is always asking for cash. You know that friend. Now, all the information is on the description below. You can also inbox me, you can WhatsApp me, or go to my website, which is odworjegero.co.ke.